collector finds rare $100 bill worth a lot of money. Now I know what you may be thinking, $100 is a lot of money. I get it, but what if I told you that the $100 bills in this video sold for a whole lot more money than just $100? Let's look at this $100 bill on the back that sold for $960. So on the back of the bill, nothing too out of the normal. We do want to point out that this bill is uncirculated, meaning that there's not a single fold on the bill. Another condition factor to pay attention to is the centering. If you look at the margins, which is that white border around the bill, the more centered the bill is, the better it is for the condition. But remember, only if there's no folds on the bill that matters. As soon as there's a single fold on the bill, the centering doesn't really matter that much. What you need to know on this specific bill is that the back of the bill is the first print. When you flip it over, the front of the bill is the second print, and the third and final print is what's actually missing here. That third print is called the overprint, which includes the serial numbers in green and the district and treasury seal on the left and right hand side of the bill. Now if you look very closely, you'll see some embossing on the left hand side there. You can see an A. That means that the third print actually came down, but the ink was missing. Long story short on this bill, if you have an insufficient inking error like this one that graded by PMG at a 65 EPQ, you could be in for a treat because $960 for this $100 bill. $2,160 for this 1928 $100 bill. Now before 1928, all US paper money was actually large size. It was much bigger than what you see today. This bill is unique for a few reasons. One, it's a star note. Star note is essentially a replacement note for a sheet of bills that has an error on that specific sheet. A quality control manager will pick out that sheet, destroy it, and produce a new sheet of bills with a star at the end of the serial number. What's really important on this specific bill is that one of the stars is actually inverted. That's right. The star at the top right is a normal star, but at the bottom left you can see it's upside down. It's typically those small details that people overlook that can mean the difference of a lot of money. This one graded at an extremely fine 40, so that's a pretty low grade. You can see some staining going on here, but that's the main reason why it sold for $2,160. $1,925 for this $100 bill from 2017 series. Now the back of the bill here is pretty important. When we're looking around, we will see what's called a back plate number. Now in this case, it's a small little number 2 hidden there. Do you see it? Well, what that number is essentially a way for the Bureau of Engraving and Printing, who produces paper money, to track where this specific bill would be located on a printing plate. To keep it very simple, it's essentially for bookkeeping purposes and to track where and when the bill is being produced. Now that number matters in certain situations. Sometimes the back of the bill should not have been printed with a front of the bill. What I'm talking about are mule notes. Now mule notes most of the time happen on older bills. We've yet to see a modern bill like this that's a mule. Now how do you tell if you have a mule note? The back plate number and the front plate number, which is located right here, would be a different size. If the back plate and the front plate are different sizes, then there's a good possibility that you have a mule note. But remember, it happens a lot more frequently on older bills, and we wouldn't really suggest spending too much time looking on new bills because the quality control nowadays is done by computers and it's much more sophisticated. The reason why this bill sold for $1,925 is mainly because of the serial number. Now the serial number is what collectors call a radar serial number. You can also see the grade as a 58 EPQ. Now that matters because that means that there's a fold somewhere on the bill. Even if it goes through the corner and hits the design barely, that's still considered to be a fold and would still hit the grade this lowly. What you need to know here is that if it did not have a fold, it would have sold for a lot more money than $1,925. $7,200 for this 2017 $100 bill. Now you can see this one got the 66 grade. Once you go above 58, you go from 58 to 60, and then the uncirculated grade is from 60 to 70. Now this is important I bring this up because if you have no folds whatsoever, that's great, but the next condition factor is going to be the centering. Now if you look at the margin around the bill, you can see the right side is pretty tight and smaller compared to the left side. Because the centering is not that good, it got the 66 grade. If it would have graded higher, it would have sold for more money because it's a solid number 8 serial number. And again, it sold for $7,200. We're not going to spend a lot of time here, but this note is significant because it's a $100 bill that's genuine US paper money, and it sold for $264,000. $1,000. This is an 1890 Treasury note, brown seal, and collectors have a nickname of this note as the watermelon note. They call it the watermelon because those zeros on the back of the bill look like watermelons. There's also a grand watermelon, which is a $1,000 bill with similar features, but more on that in a different video. What you need to know here is that if you have this bill, please contact a rare paper money expert. You do not want to get scammed and ripped off if you have a genuine $100 bill from 1890 like this one that sold for $264,000. Now the front of this note looks completely normal and fine. This bill sold for $4,320. It's a 2006 $100 bill, and it's not until you flip the bill over that you notice something is very wrong here. This is what we call a test note error. So during the printing process, before they start a large run of these bills, because you have to imagine they're printing hundreds of thousands of sheets per day, they want to make sure that the ink is going to be flowing properly. So what they do is they'll flood out the plates for these bills just to do a test run before they start production. This bill accidentally got out into circulation and it sold for $4,320. If you enjoyed this video, smash that like button. It really helps us out, and we'll see you in the next one.